Hi, I'm Tracy Shannon from Star Media, and I first just have to say I'm in love with this film. It had all the rules, which I am a big believer in rules. I appreciated that it played to that. I thought that was very clever. I don't know if you guys came up with that or Terrence, that was from you, because I love the whole element of the movie within the movie. So I thought maybe we could start there if you wanted to talk a little about that.
So the scene where they're talking about the rules of a rom-com was in the writing process with Terrence. One day we were like talking about it, and I was like, "Oh my God, wait, we need to make that a
It
scene."
was a long text chain that were like just move
We
it
were just
into the
like,
screenplay. Yeah.
we were literally like the rules you see in the film. We were like texting about, and then I was like, "Wait,
Yeah.
idea." But the whole meta frame, I've never seen a meta rom-com before. The Social Network is one of my favorite screenplays, and I love how they use the framing device to tell that story. And it really was inspired by Terrence and his incredible ability to pitch, because he got everyone on board of this film. And yeah, and the suit he wears in that is inspired by Crazy Rich Asians. So there's a ton of Easter eggs throughout the film to
No,
different.
I did not miss that. I missed the Crazy Rich Asians, but I did not miss the fact that there were a
Oh yeah.
multitude of,
20, yeah,
of
27.
I have a letterbox list if you want to.
oh my gosh. Well, my daughter speaks in letterbox. I would just like
There you go.
as
Yeah.
a side note. But I have to say, like on a personal note, I am a bit older than all of you, but I believe in a life of second acts. I am about to, my daughter turns 18 tomorrow, so I am soon to be an empty nester, but I am an actress who has some dusty screenplays, and I'm moving into my second act. And this was a movie about people kind of finding another act. Plus, when I was, Terrence, you're a really roundabout second actor.
Yeah.
I really appreciated that element of it because my whole thing about my writing and my blogging and all of that is about that there isn't an end date on dreams. So I really appreciated that, and I didn't know, how, except in text chains, now I know some of your writing process, how much of it, came with it, or if that was part of y'all's process too, finding this blossoming, idea of people finding their new way.
I mean, so my screenwriting classes, I'm a huge Aaron Sorkin junkie.
I noticed the social network, not
So
worthy, not worthy.
I know.
so I mean, this is gonna sound nuts, but I basically got Final Draft. I pulled up season 3 of The West Wing, and I watched every episode and tried to write the episode word for word in screenplay format. And then they have them all actually online, so I would compare my version versus the real version. And as I went through the season, I got closer and closer and closer. So I kind of figured out, okay, this is kind of what it feels like. And then Karen, of course, tore that draft apart and then made it much better, but that's I think the big part is this is all collaboration, right? And from the first draft to the last draft, it gets better and better and better. So very much like you said, this is a rom-com about New York, and New York is all about dreams, right? No one moves to New York without ambition. So if you're going to write a story about New York, every single one of these characters has to have that dream that they're trying to achieve.
Oh, I would agree. Now, I feel like Kendall, both of these, they played double roles. Now, when you came into this process, was it just coming in as an actress, which is enough? I say that as an actress, so I don't want it to be like, oh, you were just the actress. What was the line? Easy, right? When so not to diminish, you have enough on your plate, but where in the creative process did you jump in?
Well, kind of the very beginning. I didn't help write it at all. I'm not going to take credit for that, but I guess is it okay to say that I was originally
Yeah,
gonna play
yeah, yeah.
I was originally gonna play Chloe
Mhm.
in the very original first stages before we tore up the script
Yeah,
and totally changed it.
yeah. It was a
Um,
table read, actually.
it was a table read, yeah. And then um Terrence got back on the phone with me and was like, let's hear you read for Nora. We think maybe that would be a good fit. And then we read for that. And that was 5 years ago.
Four, I think
That
four,
was during
four,
the
actually
pandemic,
five. Yeah, you're right,
5 years
five years
ago.
ago. Wow. Yeah. Jeez.
So I've seen the script go through many different changes, get a few makeovers, a little tweaks here and there. So I do feel like I've been part of the process and I've got to help build Nora in a way. So I'm grateful for that.
And I can say from both as an actor and a writer, Kendall's notes from a table read are the things I take as gospel, right? Like it's one of those things where like if she gives a note, 99.9% of the time it's on point. Like I read right, right? And having her from that early on was such a blessing.
Yeah, when I was brought onto the project, like I couldn't see anyone else as Nora. Like she's so integral to this film, and I still remember our first time meeting in LA and getting coffee and just talking about the character and
crazy how time flies.
Yeah.
That's quite a long process, and so I can see how you would have become such a piece to it as well. So, and I think you were perfect as Nora. And I think going the other way as Chloe did add to what I found to be a great element, which is, and I don't know how original that was to it, but talking about the meta, the whole like, it's okay to be an Asian guy in a film and it not be an Asian movie, but an Asian guy in New York very often would have an Asian girlfriend, but that didn't have to be the whole story. And then you were trying to write it about the Caucasian women, and they're like, wait, what? No, what? Wait, what? Who wrote the coverage on that? I love
That's a good line.
so much. And I thought that added such a unique element to it that that you were just a guy who wanted to, you know, write a movie that was rom-com and you just wanted to be in it. And, you know, you could be just a human. You're just allowed to be just a human. And so I think that the fact that you did have an Asian girlfriend and then you went to Caucasian, I think that that added a real depth to it and made the whole meta part really spin. So
I also think it's just very true of New York, right? You know, if this was Me Cute in Tokyo, it's a very, very different story. But like in New York, you love who you love, you know, and I think that's the thing. Like we wanted to capture that reality as well, you know, because I think it's very, very important to show that, you know, that love does transcend everything, you know. So I think it's really, really important.
love does transcend everything. To close up, I just had one last quick question. So when did the shift go from truth in advertising to Meet Cute, which I love Meet Cute, by the way.
That was my mom's favorite title from the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. So our distributor was like, truth in advertising doesn't sound like a rom-com, which was actually a line
In the
in the
I
film.
remember that he took off the "the."
Yeah,
social
yeah. But no, and I think the new title just tells everyone what it is. Like it's a love story, right? It's a love story. It's set in New York, and hopefully it's one of those movies that you watch and makes you happy. That's
every rom-com has to have a meet cute. So, well, you guys have been lovely. I really appreciate your time. I hope the film just does dynamite, and I'm going to tell everyone to see it because I really enjoyed it. So, thank you so much. Y'all take care.
You too.